How's it going? Time for Mental Health Mondays. So, it's my show, it's my brain. We're gonna talk about my shit. Hopefully, my shit will help you with your shit, and then we can all get our poop in a group. So, one of my biggest problems is attention deficit disorder exacerbated by brain damage from cancer, or 12 days in ICU, or 10 years of alcohol abuse. I was originally diagnosed with ADD in the early 80s. At that time, they did not fully understand it. It was their understanding that my little brain was going to be a problem when it came to mathematics and possibly languages, and that I would be somewhat flighty, a daydreamer. I learned over time that the diagnosis that I was given as a child was accurate for the time. They did not understand that it's not something you grow out of, it's not something that you move on from, it's a part of your brain for the rest of your life, and good luck. Flash forward, one of the problems that I have with ADD that I'm hoping others can give me some advice on is self hatred. When you have attention deficit disorder, you do not complete tasks like you should sometimes. You'll get very excited and start this wonderful project that is going to do great things and help people and be useful. And then you get distracted by another project that is going to be useful and do good things and help people. And then in the middle of that project, you find a project that will help people and do good things and be useful. Consequently, you don't complete anything. And most of those things that you have completed either rot in a corner or they blow up in your face. When I say projects, I don't just mean like building models or tying flies or lifting weights. I'm talking about life. I'm talking about people. I'm talking about relationships. You screw up and screw up and screw up and screw up and screw up until you finally decide you're a screw up. When you realize that every single plan never comes to fruition, you start to believe that you're a failure. And what do failures do? If they're any kind of aware of their situation, they begin to hate themselves. You feel like a coward. So after a while, the self-hatred builds up. And you start to second guess every single thing you do. Everything you say. Someone can gently chide you about something that you may have done that irritated them a little, but not really that bad. And you will build it up in your mind to a earth-shattering, friendship-wrecking problem. And then you talk to them a few days later and everything's fine. They don't even remember that they got on you about it because it wasn't that important. The other frustrating thing with the self-hatred is that you build up rage. You become so angry at yourself for never completing anything, for never seeing your plans come to fruition. You get to the point where you despise everything about yourself and you're angry because there's nothing you can do. You can't beat the hell out of yourself. I had a buddy one time, he told me, he said, "Bose, you act like you ain't afraid of nobody." I said, "I'm not. Nobody on earth could ever beat me up as bad as I do. I don't worry about people saying mean things on the internet. I've been called worse by better in the first place. In the second place, you can't call me anything I haven't called myself at least a dozen times. They say you should treat yourself like someone you're taking care of. If people heard my inner voice talking to me, they would report me to the authorities for abuse. That's how bad it gets. But when you're that screwed up with attention deficit disorder, you start self-medicating with booze, in my case. The only reason I sobered up was because I had to take care of my dad. I'm glad I did, because I have no doubt that I would have drank myself to death. I almost did 2 or 3 times over the years, trying to just quiet the constant mental criticism. It's like living with a roommate who hates you. And I don't mean hate you like can't stand living with you. I mean hates you. And the worst part is they've known you your whole life, so they know everything you've ever done or thought about doing. And anytime something goes wrong, they're on your back. Do you remember that time? You remember what you did. You remember how you screwed that up. And you think you have a future. People they still get annoyed with me because I never shut up. And they don't understand that the reason I never shut up is because as long as I'm talking, my internal dialogue is quiet. The moment I stop talking, Hyde is right there, chewing on Jekyll. It's hellish. Luckily, thanks to my best friend, my father, and my great aunt, I started getting therapy. I started working out, trying to actually work on the problems that I have instead of just drinking them away or ignoring them until they won't go away. Things are getting better. But I want your all's opinions. I want to see what you all think. If you have similar situations, how do you deal with that intense self-hatred? Because it's unhealthy. It's bad for you. It's bad for me. It's coming along, but it's work. And many hands make light work. So give me your advice. Take care. And take care of one another.